Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Muhammad Imad, your host for the evening. Stay tuned. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz ratifies an amendment to the Decentralization Act, which introduces Ramadan allowances for Women's Development Committee WDC members.
The 14th Amendment to the Decentralization Act proposed by the government was passed by the Parliament on 18 February at the 6th sitting of the Parliament's first session of the 2025 parliamentary term. The amendment aims to strengthen and clarify the role of elected WDCs in the islands and cities under the Decentralization Act. The amendment clearly defines WDC responsibilities, enhances operational measures, and establishes structured mechanism for administrative support. It also reinforces the role of local council and the local government authority LGA in ensuring these committees have access to essential resources, training, and facilities. To tackle funding challenges, the amendment introduces clear structured procedures for allocating funds from government grants provided to councils. It also sets definitive guidelines for how WDCs should manage and utilize these funds. It also mandates that 5% of the government's grant to council should be allocated to WDCs. The amendment requires the council to hand over the funds required for the first 2 quarters of the year within 30 days of receipt of the funds. The remaining funds must be handed over to the committee according to regulations made by the LGA. Additionally, the amendments introduces Ramadan allowances for the committee members. Any WDC member not already receiving a Ramadan allowance under another law will now be entitled to Maldivian rupiah 3,000 before the start of each Ramadan month. This development is in line with President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's announcement earlier in December while addressing the residents of Dageti Aliftal atoll. In his address, the President said he would bring necessary amendments to the Decentralization Act and the Employment Act to ensure that the members of WDCs are paid a designated salary, received Ramadan allowances, and are eligible for various schemes offered by the financial institutions. He also noted that women play a leading role in the development of every island, adding that the government will give full support to ensure a future where women and men work equally in the same status towards the development of their island and country. Following its ratification, the amendment has been published in the Government Gazette and will come into effect accordingly.
Parliament approves the revised mandates for 3 key ministries following a proposal submitted by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. The affected ministries are the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology, and the Ministry of Health. The Government Oversight Committee conducted a thorough review of President Dr. Muiz's proposal before the mandates received parliamentary endorsement.
The Higher Education Ministry's revised mandate includes all aspects of higher education and training. This encompasses expanding educational opportunities, regulating and providing financial assistance, covering all aspects of the Maldives National Qualifications Framework, and ensuring occupational health and safety. Similarly, the updated mandate for the Homeland Security Ministry focuses on ensuring homeland security, maintaining peace and domestic security, combating crime, and overseeing individuals in state custody. Responsibilities also cover immigration, enforcement of policies regarding migrant workers, oversight of juvenile delinquents, combating the trafficking and the use of narcotic substances, and managing international registration and population data. Equally important, the Health Ministry's revised mandate prioritizes the health of citizens. It includes the regulation of healthcare institutions and professionals, ensuring the safety of food, medicine, and other pharmaceutical products, and maintaining the provision of safe blood samples. Additionally, the ministry is tasked with overseeing care for individuals in state institutions, particularly those with disabilities.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz enacts a series of comprehensive reforms in a significant effort to alleviate financial burdens and address medicine shortages within the National Healthcare Insurance Scheme, ASANDA. These changes, recommended by the Cabinet, were prompted by a detailed review of a proposal submitted by the Ministry of Health during the cabinet meeting held on February 16th.
According to a statement from the President's office, a suite of measures has been introduced to enhance the Asanda healthcare scheme. A mechanism will be established to ensure that all prescribed medicines in the country are registered under Asanda. Additionally, treatment guidelines will be finalized to standardize medical practices across the healthcare system. To streamline the availability of medicines, a dashboard is being developed to enable doctors to view the availability of medicines through the State Trading Organization, STO. According to the President's office, doctors will be apprised of these changes to ensure they are informed and up to date with the new system. All medicines on the approved drug list will be made continuously available in STO pharmacies without interruptions, the statement said. STO is also set to secure the necessary permissions to import medicines from foreign hospitals empaneled by Asanda, in compliance with Maldives Food and Drug Authority MFDA policies. As long-term solution, STO will establish a direct procurement system from manufacturers. The reforms extend to the establishment of 4 general practitioner GP clinics in Malé, according to the President's office, ensuring uninterrupted access to medicines through the STO pharmacy. This initiative will also be implemented across all islands and regional hospitals, guaranteeing that medicines are provided exclusively through Asanda. Should any medicines be unavailable on the islands, they will be supplied by STO upon request. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will expand its role in facilitating the importation of medicines from abroad. Addressing service delivery issues, the President's office stated the Health Ministry will tackle any concerns referred to them. Inpatients will gain access to medicines from hospitals via STO, and the MFDA will trace every imported medicine. A digital system will be introduced to allow patients to track the availability and location of medicines through their prescriptions. In his presidential address, President assured that the administration will enact measures to ensure citizens do not encounter obstacles or financial hardships when procuring medicines through Asanda.
Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishat Shiham reveals that the government is set to begin a nationwide initiative to make buildings and public places easily accessible to persons with disabilities. The minister made these remarks during the 4th forum of the AHA series, through which the government provides direct answers to citizens' questions, which was held on February 15th.
The minister pointed out that some buildings, parks and public places have been constructed with limited to no disability access, but said President Dr. Mohammad Moise has made some key policy decisions to address the issue. In that regard, she said the relevant authorities have now been instructed to make necessary changes to new and existing buildings easily accessible to persons with disabilities, adding that the efforts to make these changes will begin very soon. The minister also acknowledged the numerous concerns received from islands throughout the Maldives over limited disability access to buildings and public areas, adding that the government will work with the local councils to implement these changes across the country. She said the government is working hard to protect the rights of people with disabilities through changes to the relevant laws and regulations. The government, meanwhile, is also working to complete the National Register of Persons with Disabilities to gather essential information for providing necessary assistance. As of November last year, over 13,600 individuals have registered. This initiative aims to ensure that people with disabilities can fully participate in society and access basic services, addressing the need for accurate data to support them effectively.
Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed denies links between the decrease in import duty revenue to the Free Trade Agreement FTA with China.
The China-Maldives FTA came into effect on 1st January, where it was expected to provide significant relief to various sectors by facilitating access to materials and tools, easing the burden faced by local businesses. Just a little over a month after the FTA came into effect, the latest revenue figures have shown a considerable drop in import duty revenue, which has been linked to the FTA. However, Minister Said, during the 4th forum of the AHA series, through which the government provides direct answers to citizens' questions, held Saturday evening, explained that the revenue decline has no connection to the FTA. According to him, goods worth 1 billion rupiah or $64.9 million were imported to the country since January this year, and its CIF value is worth 34 million rupiah or 2.2 million US dollars. The minister said out of that FTA relief amount to 2.3 million rupiah or 149,157 US dollars. Speaking about the benefits of the FTA, minister said that Maldives and other larger countries will have contrasting views on the formulation and implementation of such agreements. He said as Maldives is heavily dependent on imports, the Maldives will benefit the most from such agreements. According to Minister Said, easing businesses and maintaining commodity prices is the primary objective of incumbent President Dr. Mohammad Moise, adding that efforts towards that are ongoing through the Maldives Industrial Development Free Zone MIDFZ company.
Minister of Tourism and Environment Tariq Ibrahim reveals that the government is aiming to plant 2 million trees before the end of the year as part of its ambitious 5 million tree plantation program. Minister Tariq made these remarks during the 4th forum of the AHA series, through which the government provides direct answers to citizens' questions, which was held on February 15th.
Speaking during the forum, the minister said the tree plantation program highlights the administration's commitment to combating climate change and enhancing biodiversity. He said the government is aiming to plant 2 million trees before the end of the current year. To make this initiative more suitable, Minister Tariq revealed plans to design a special mobile application for the 5 million tree program. Through this application, one will know where a particular tree was planted and by whom, he added. The program launched by President Dr. Mohammad Moise aims to combat climate change, enhance biodiversity and protect endangered native tree species. It was officially inaugurated on 5th June 2024, coinciding with the World Environment Day, marking a significant step towards environmental conservation. The initiative focuses on planting native tree varieties that are at risk of extinction. These include fruit trees, shade trees, flowering trees, and trees used in traditional Divehi medicine. Over a span of 5 years, the program aims to plant a total of 90 varieties of fruit-bearing and vegetable-producing plants, significantly contributing to the country's ecological and food security.
Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishat Shiham states that 60 local councils have expressed interest in establishing Isravihinge Nadi or senior community centers. The announcement was made during the 4th session of the AHA series, an event orchestrated by the President's Office in collaboration with Public Service Media PSM.
These centers are intended to provide dedicated spaces for senior citizens to congregate, hold meetings, participate in various activities and socialize. The Social and Family Development Ministry had previously invited local councils to express interest in setting up such centers in their respective islands. Addressing the AHA Forum, Minister Shiham underscored the growing elderly population in the Maldives, mirroring a trend observed globally. She said that a significant number of local councils had demonstrated interest in establishing these centers to ensure elderly citizens have designated spaces for their activities. Though approximately 60 local councils have shown interest, according to Minister Aishat Shiham, the ministry is currently in discussions with these councils to identify suitable locations. She added that the ministry is also actively working on devising a comprehensive strategy and action plan for elderly care. According to the minister, during visits to the outer islands, ministry officials have been engaging with elderly populations to understand the challenges and issues they face. Aligning with President Dr. Mohammad Moise's electoral pledge, according to the minister, the administration is working on establishing medical clinics dedicated to the elderly and introducing programs aimed at elderly care. Reiterating the administration's commitment, Minister Aishat Shiham stated that President Dr. Moises' government is dedicated to identifying and addressing the issues and challenges faced by the elderly. She said that the administration is currently developing a policy to allocate points to elderly individuals applying for government-run social housing programs, ensuring the protection and rights of elderly persons and enhancing their participation in society remain a cornerstone of President Dr. Mohamed Moises' pledge. Establishing senior community centers nationwide is a pivotal aspect of this commitment. The first center was inaugurated in February 2024, with an additional center in Hulumale set to be inaugurated soon.
Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed says that the government will place necessary measures against any price hikes of food items during the upcoming holy month of Ramadan. Minister Saeed provided the much-needed reassurance during the fourth forum of the AHA series, through which the government provides direct answers to citizens' questions, which was held on February 15th.
The minister said this administration has continued to largely maintain the inflation rate at 3%. He added that the government had managed to keep prices of food items stable during last Ramadan, made possible by President Dr. Mohamed Moises' decision to constitute a special committee to monitor and oversee any price fluctuations. Under a similar arrangement and measures, the minister expressed confidence that the government would be able to keep prices stable during this Ramadan, scheduled to begin on 1st March. Referring to a World Bank report last year, Minister Said said, though the World Bank had forecasted modest inflation to cross 7%, the government, through proactive measures, has managed to keep inflation below 3%. He said the cabinet had formulated and implemented a policy on the direct instructions of the president. According to him, the government is ready to quickly step in if there is any hike in prices on the essentials list. The minister had also urged private suppliers, wholesalers and retailers to take additional measures to mitigate a rise in prices, asking them to share any difficulties or challenges faced with the government. Responding to a question on the recently introduced bunkering services in the Maldives, Minister said previous governments had not given any emphasis to developing the sector. He said in the past 5 months since the initiative was launched, the country had made great strides in further developing the sector, insisting that this venture will prove hugely beneficial to Maldives' economy. He revealed that state trading organization STO has already brought in 2 shipments so far, with the third en route. He also said a special law on international bunkering has been drafted, which marks a first for the island nation. However, the minister did admit the Maldives is facing several challenges, especially from neighboring countries that have already developed offshore bunkering facilities. He said Maldives has lagged behind, as previous governments had not attached any significance to developing this sector. Minister Said said the construction of a storage facility for bunkering services in Horafashi, Halif et al. Will begin this year, adding that the construction of a port and a terminal will take international bunkering services in the Maldives to new heights.
Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed says that the government is looking to set up warehouses across different regions of the country to help suppliers import goods in bulk amid efforts to keep prices of consumer goods stable.
The government has launched several initiatives to maintain the price of consumer goods in the market. The government is working with the state trading organization STO to keep prices of most essential items stable during the upcoming holy month of Ramadan. Efforts have been underway since October last year, and the government has assured that prices will be kept stable this Ramadan as they were last year. The Ministry of Economic Development and Trade has also set up a special platform to closely monitor the prices of essential commodities in the market. Speaking during a press conference conference, the minister said facilitating the bulk importation, storage and warehousing of goods was also part of the price stability measures. He said that the government is looking to designate land for warehouse in different parts of the country, adding that the state-owned Maldives Industrial Development Free Zone (MIDFS) company is leading the initiative. However, the minister did note that the current measures being implemented by the government would not be sustainable for price stability in the long term. He added the government's aim is to establish such warehouse facilities to keep prices stable.
The government warns employers that all services through the online expat system will be suspended if the relevant fees are not paid on time.
According to an announcement by the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology, new work site registration, a new quota pool and new work permits will not be issued to employers who do not pay the expatriate-related fees regularly. The ministry said those who are making regular payments under previously signed settlement agreements will be exempt from this measure. In addition to deporting undocumented immigrants, the government is also providing the opportunity for undocumented expatriate workers to legalize. The government has also launched a nationwide initiative to collect biometric data of all expatriate workers amid a major effort to tackle the long-standing issue of undocumented immigrants residing in the island nation. Pending fees when this administration took office was at a staggering USD 116.72 million, the Minister of Homeland Security and Technology, Ali Ihsan, had said earlier. According to him, the administration has successfully reclaimed approximately USD 71.34 million out of the amount, thereby reducing the outstanding balance to around USD 38.77 million. The government had offered easy payment plans for employers with less than USD 6,480 in unpaid expat fees. There are more than 500 individuals and companies employing foreigners in the Maldives. Out of these, 90% or more than 45,000 do not pay fees regularly, the ministry had revealed earlier.
Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC posts $136.2 million in revenue last year. However, according to MTCC's financial figures last year, this revenue figure is 32.1% down from the previous year's $207.5 million.
MTCC's operating income fell 37.2% compared to 2023, according to the fourth quarter of financial report. The company had operating revenue of $28.1 million in 2023, but suffered a significant decline to $13.7 million last year. The decline in revenue was reflected in MTCC's profit, with the company posting profit before tax of $6.4 million for 2025. This is 41% lower than a previous year. MTCC had posted a net profit of $5.5 million last year. The figure shows that MTCC posted a net profit of $27.1 million in the fourth quarter of last year. This is a decrease of 28.8% compared to Rupiah 38.1 million in the third quarter of the last year. MTCC posted an operating profit of $11.5 million in the fourth quarter. The company had operating revenue of $823,000 in the third quarter. MTCC posted a net profit of $9.8 million in the last quarter of 2024. The state-owned MTCC is implementing multiple infrastructure projects across the country. According to the company, MTCC carried out 189 projects in the last quarter of last year. 9 projects were completed and 3 new projects were started during the quarter. The highlights of MTCC's achievement in 2024 includes Mafaro Airport expansion, second phase, and a channel development in the harbour of Kumundu, Hadal Atoll.
And that wraps up this week's 168 Hours. Thank you for tuning into PSM News. We'll see you again next week.